It is another episode of Luca's Tigers and Bronze. What's up, Luca Nation? I get to do the intro because I feel like I'm getting to give a Lifetime Achievement Award. Like I'm going up there for the Oscars, you know, the Golden Globes, or whatever those Adult Video Network awards are that Andrew always tells me about that he wants to go to Vegas for. And, you know, like the guy who gets to present.
Remember Shay went to those and someone in the meme group posted about it with Lisa Ann.
Yeah, I mean, come on now, it's fun stuff.
And now Shay's on a pilgrimage.
It's a very different Shay Way vlogs than when you.
He said he's clean.
Job's not done. Job's not
quote unquote. I think he said he's the cleanest he's ever felt.
Me too, and I just had McDonald's, but a shower will do that. So here's the thing, right? There are lucky people in this world who get to give awards to people for that Lifetime Achievement Award. The people who get to hand the award to Taylor Swift for the best video of the year at the MTV and then stiff arm Kanye like Derrick Henry when he comes up and tries to steal it from her. I get that privilege today, folks. I get to give the award for best hobby ideas in the game, best hobby ideas in the business, hobby ideas that I personally pooed on.
Luca Nation, we were experiencing technical difficulties, so this is his third go-round.
Oh my God, I've done this so many times.
Just keep that in mind.
This is what we're settling
It gets more extreme.
Oh my God, each time.
I'm gonna be Sir Knighted in England after this.
Boom, that's it.
After USA beats England.
That's right. I mean, it's funny. I got to find your real last name before they changed it to Goldberg. His name, guys, his legal name for knighting. It's Mehoff. His last name is Mehoff, and his name's not Andrew. It's Jack. So he's Sir Jack Mehoff. So anyway, here's one of those fun things, right? So here he is, and he presents a suggestion to me last week, right? And there's a bunch of topics, and he gets buried in there, but like Andrew does, he powers through when I'm being my typical idiot self, and he powers through with these suggestions on how to fix or help the hobby in times where the market is bad, when the overall market is bad, when overall economy is bad. And he kind of drew on his experiences at the cafe, loyalty bonuses, you name it, the whole deal. And he came up with ideas. And one of them that I really shat on, I really thought was like, how the hell are they going to do that? Was a hobby buyback program. You guys remember this? I mean, we're talking last week where Andrew came up with a hobby buyback. He talked about buying base cards back.
The four options, or like I presented to Cage, it was like if you're, hobby commissioner, you get to do it's fill all redemptions, cut buyer's premium, grading is $5 or right at that break even point of $5, or a hobby buyback. Those were the four.
And the only thing I had to add was, wow, those are stupid ideas, and where there should be more collaboration between the hobby folks instead of fighting with each other. They should be trying to work together to grow the pie instead of fighting with each other about, one small pie. But Andrew's buyback program, it had my brain in the proverbial Andrew pretzel, and I'm like, I can't see how it works. And wouldn't you know it, I don't care what they say. Everyone in this hobby listens to this man. Everyone, right? Whether you agree with him or don't agree with him, whether you think he's a child or not, people listen, right? I have the microphone, and you will listen to every damn word I have to say. So,
for people who aren't familiar, you want to clue them in on what's going on?
Sure. Well, today there were two announcements that I think mirror what we talked about in that episode, and I got to give you credit. I give you a pat on the back, let you take a victory lap. A hobby buyback program was announced literally a week after you, I think, came up with it off the top of your head, and we've never seen anything like it. I don't think in the hobby. But there are correlations that I draw in like other areas, right? I mean, we make fun of Top Shot, but they've done challenges and they've done burning of moments, right? Where you're able to like burn and get a pack, you're able to burn it and get credit, you're able to like, take that out of circulation, out of supply. And also the challenges that'll create, in order to get a reward, create, value in what was otherwise almost valueless item, like Will Barton moments for $300 I'm spending on it so that I can complete a challenge to get somebody else's stuff, right? So today, Fanatics, Topps, announced what they're doing is it's basically a buyback program for the 2022 Topps Chrome product, which is already mired in some muck here, because that was the one that the silver pack issues had to be created for, because it didn't have the SSPs, didn't have the Julio Rodriguez, it didn't have all these cards, the rookies that you want to chase for, and they put them in the silver packs, and I guess that went okay, right? I mean, it still wasn't. I would imagine, I saw enough of them on eBay that I don't think the people who were supposed to get them got them. But here you go. They announced today because of the MVP award, the National League MVP Goldschmidt and the American League MVP Judge, that all of their Topps Chrome cards, read the message because I don't want to be misquoted. I'm paraphrasing it here, right? But basically, Judge and Goldschmidt's Topps Chrome 2022 cards have bounties on them for store credits with, at this moment, 345 stores across the world. And I'm sure that's going to grow as more people hear about it. Basically, you can turn in, I believe, a base card of either one of those guys for $20 in store credit. Right? And then the parallels are more, all the way down to like low numbered cards up to like 25, could be as much as $200 you're turning in. About 10 minutes after this announcement was done, every single Paul Goldschmidt Topps Chrome on eBay was sniped. It was funny to watch. So boom, I'm clicking on them. This item is no longer available. This item is no longer available. It's like, yeah, I want to buy some myself and give them away.
Cage used to be a beast of eBay floor buying. He once bought like 100 Pete Alonso PSAs 10s overnight.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
he was talking shit to the sellers too. Gotcha, bitch. Here, got another one. I'm the only buyer for these.
Think about it. It's smart, right? The Topps Chrome product, I don't know what's in it. You could probably pull something good, but now, you got to think that it's driving customers to the store to buy a box of Topps Chrome, thinking that even if they don't hit a massive auto, even if they don't hit a nice parallel, as long as they hit a Goldschmidt or Judge base, they're getting $20 back in store credit from the store they're going to buy it in. So it's a smart, a thing for Topps to move that product. It's a smart thing for the stores to get, foot traffic in, people bringing cards in, people buying their product from them. They're probably not just going to buy Topps Chrome when you go into the store. You bring your kids, one wants Pokemon, whatever the heck it is. It's a good idea, and it was your idea. So take credit.
And then SGC and Topps, what about that announcement? Can you give people the rundown?
The Topps one is another one. I mean, we talk about, hobby collaboration. So you have Topps collaborating with LCSs. Now you have Topps collaborating with SGC, and that is on 2022 Bowman Chrome boxes, right? So basically, SGC announced that any card from the 2022 Bowman Chrome product, they will grade at, I think it's $9. $9 at, same turnaround, the whole 9 yards. No minimum, no maximum, no nothing. Doesn't matter how much the card's worth. There's no minimum value, no maximum value, no minimum amount you can send, no maximum amount you can send. It basically is, one of the first things we talked about as far as like, what do you do for the hobby if you want to fix it? Well, figure out a way to buy boxes of hobby boxes, open them up, and be able to grade them. Boom. You can go into a hobby store now, pick up a box, Topps Chrome, and go bounty hunting for a Judge or a Goldschmidt, and pick up a box of Bowman Chrome, and the prospects, the first Bowmans, the numbered cards, you send them to SGC, you follow along the link, and you can grade the card and get it slabbed in an SGC holder for $9. That's
so
back to 2019.
So out of those 4 ideas I presented, seems to me like 2 of the 4 have been used, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have lower cost grading, $9, and you have the buyback, which, if you think of just in first principles, adds liquidity to the system and it cuts supply. It's like it's a double whammy. We know there's overprinting, and we also feel that people don't have enough money in their pockets. They're card rich and cash poor, so it solves 2. Now my ask is for Panini and PWCC to step up. So PWCC had an issue with their auction this Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. And they rewarded a lot of people with $100 credit, a lot of new customers, but they had an issue with their auction this weekend. They have an opportunity in this market that I think their business has done very, very well the last 2 years to find ways to also give back. And Panini, the 4th option, which is the redemption option, I think we'd all love to hear some progress done on that side. What's happening with our redemptions? So you started this with like gloating and all that stuff, and it's all tongue in cheek because we got to entertain. But at the same time, it's like the job's not finished is the quote that comes to mind, because also it shows that maybe the intentions could be right, but we have to watch it all play out. How do the businesses execute it, right? Does SGC get backlogged, or do they turn these cards around like this? What's the resale value of those? Will there be a market for those? When Topps and Fanatics buys these cards back, is it smooth? Is that store credit easily communicated, right?
Right.
Is it? So there's a lot to play out here. That it's more than just headline reading, because any company could come out and say, hey, I want to do this. But when we really get to see how the sausage is made, so to speak, is the execution of those ideas. And do they go smoothly? Do they actually add value? Or are they just a headache for customers and customers don't care?
Yeah, I mean that is a valid point, and I think it's Fanatics and Topps kind of dipping their toe in this, right? Because these are products that are already in hobby stores, right? These are products that are already out there, right? And I guess the thought is going to be, are these programs that work? Are these programs that bring people to stores? Or would they be programs that bring people directly to Fanatics buying these products like online? You know what I mean? Like, is there a way to kind of a testing ground, right? If a company will partner with Topps to grade directly this product for $9 a slab, that's that
Well,
I would imagine that's going to have some sort of impact.
I think so. When you said something earlier, like I thought of that from the top of my head. In fact, I did not. Like, I'm surprised this idea wasn't used over the years to cut supply. Right? You manufacturers, you release a product, you make a boatload of money on that product, especially when there's demand. And then you get to see how the market adopts it. And you're like, wait a second. There's too much of this card. There's not enough of this card being sold. Let's buy it back and infuse that money right back into the market. It's just going to be used for future products.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the thought process behind this, because a Paul Goldschmidt card, it doesn't make a difference what kind of supply there is of a Paul Goldschmidt base card. They can burn, 9,000. They could burn 99.9% of them. The card itself still not going to have any value. Sure, it'd have pennies more than it was before.
That card will not have more value.
But that
But
card
the collective market will have, if you implement this program once a month for 12 months, you will have collectively less supply.
Well, I mean, and also what the gamification of it almost, which makes it a little more fun, is if this is something that is going to be long lasting, right? And you want to have collectors or gamify this almost fantasy wise. If I were in Fanatics and Topps ear, and I know they do listen, so if you're listening, I assume this will be a success, and it shouldn't just be that this is who we did because they're the MVPs. When a release comes out, and it doesn't have to be every release, right? But maybe one per sport, or maybe two per sport of the normal hobby box stuff. You don't have to do it for National Treasures. People are going to rip those anyway. But if you announce a week after the feeding frenzy of release day, when everybody's broken the whole night, it's a week after. Oh, by the way, Topps just released its. I mean, it did with Topps because it's baseball, but let's just go football, right? Football Prism was just released. I know it's Panini, I know it's a whole deal, but let's just go with me for the future here, okay? Forget about the brands and the licenses and the whole deal. Right? Football Prism was just released. All right. A week after or 2 weeks after, they make a similar announcement where they tell you 3 or 5 cards in the base set or the parallel or whatever it is that are part of the buyback program. They don't tell you right away, right? Because that does a couple things. One, people are looking for this, so they're not so quick to sell their cards. They're not so quick to throw their cards in the garbage. You know what I mean? People are buying, maybe putting together a set, because now a complete set in week 1 has some value to it, to the secondary, because no matter who they use as their buyback, the set buyer is going to have that. It's going to make people want complete sets, and it makes more of a game. And maybe you take it to the next level.
Pause is actually bigger than people realize, and you've seen it play out. That rip pause, do I sell or not, versus rip sell. It changes the game, and it's so subtle. Continue.
And
I just wanted
think about it this way, right? And think about getting people going back to their store a bunch of times. What if you did it for 5 releases during the football season, right? And a person goes to the store and gets all 5 of them. And anyone who does all 5 gets a silver pack from the store, gets a separate card for finishing sort of like a master buyback, right? Topps gives the store X number of packs, and you give these, like they did with the silver packs, you give this to the person who has done all of the buybacks for a specific sport or for the
I think
whole
what's
year.
cool for Topps, they're going to be able to Topps Fanatics. I don't know which is the right way to word it, but like, they're going to be able to see which stores are the most engaged and the most active too. This gives them a lot of insight into which are the most frequented stores and all that. And I imagine some of these cards are going to be hand signed and hand numbered, and then I would put out an interesting program where if local area stores, let's do a competition between stores, whichever ones are able to get the most cards to buy back, we'll send them 5 or 10 autos of Judge and Goldschmidt, right? Isn't that what a buyback is? It's when you like the Jordan buybacks.
Well, that's different. That's a different type of buybacks. They're buy back the cards in order to do something with them, like Jordan cards or the Jordan Scoring Kings or the Mahomes stuff. I don't know whether or not they're going to be buying these back so that they can autograph them. and redo them again. I mean, they
Because
could
they're
do
not
that.
rookie, they don't mean that
Well, they
much.
could do
It's
it, like,
not
especially
worth it.
because they're the MVPs. They could be part of a buyback that they have the MVP's autograph and then resell on like a Tops Now type of thing. Sure. I mean, it's possible. Maybe some of the rarer ones come back. Sure. But I mean, it's just a cool thing because it gets people talking, and there's no shortage of things you can layer on top of it that get engagement and make it fun, which brings in a bigger audience. It gets people talking. Now it's water cooler. It's like, hey, I opened a box of cards last week. I didn't think I did that well. But then I saw this announcement from Topps. My hobby store called me up and told me, hey, did you throw out those cards? Look for a Paul Goldschmidt. Come back in. You can get about $20. Store credit. And now they're like, wow, that's a pretty good thing. Maybe I'll get my kid into buying boxes because there's like a floor being set.
Cage,
right?
remember John Taffer, my
Yeah.
favorite? When you guys, a lot of you ask me, like, do I love Gary or dislike Gary V?
You love
I'll
it.
put it this way. Go back and listen to old Gary V's, Ask Gary V episodes from 2014, 15, 16, 17. There's some really amazing content there with, you had Seth Godin, you had Ray Dalio, you had some of the smartest people, and one of them was John Taffer. And that's the guy from Bar Rescue.
Bar Rescue. I like him.
He's amazing, man. That guy's a talent, big presence, big personality. He's obviously amazing. But he talks about marketing to 3 visits. And I've used this before. This is marketing the 3 visits. This gets people to go to the store, buy something, go home, rip it with their son, daughter, significant other, and then you go back to the store, right? It encourages repeat buying, repeat visits. I think it's going to be fun, man. I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to watch it play out.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, the SGC thing, I mean, they're limiting it because they don't want to, get, millions of submissions in and not be able to deliver in a timely manner. But I'm sure they're going to use this. They're going to check the data on how much stuff comes in and then continue to expand that program into other releases. Why wouldn't they? And why wouldn't Topps partner with them? I think it's a win-win.
You woke up this morning, you were like, my schedule has this, and this on it. But other than that, I could record 12 episodes. So what were those 12 episodes? What did you want to be about? Because you recorded with Cation.
Yeah. So we can talk World Cup.
James
Right.
Fiorentino, an artist. You guys are maybe listening to that. Either you've listened to it or you're listening to it tomorrow, depending on the release schedule. Artist, he got commissioned by some really amazing baseball players from the 50s and 60s to paint for them at 17 years old. So he has some really historic stuff. What's top? So you want to talk World Cup, basketball, football? What was top of mind for you?
Yes, I did World Cup. We took the Cajun. I always like talking to Cajun, man. It's a fun conversation with that guy. Unless you want to talk about anything other than basketball and a sliver of soccer. I talk about baseball free agency. Forget about it. No good. I mean, listen, dude. I could not wait to talk to you today because I wanted to do an entire episode on Pat Bev. I literally wanted to just let you go on Pat Bev because it's one of those things that you could have
about this.
one of your typical kind of takes on it, like, oh, he's an idiot, send him back to Minnesota, or that's the best thing in the world, he's building a team, you don't let somebody stand over your guy.
Here's
like that.
where I go with it. I thought about this today. We talk about culture, right? We use the Warriors as their culture, right? But we knew the Lakers going into the season needed a culture change. Oftentimes, we know we need something. We go out and get what we need, but we don't let what we need do what we got them to do. Right?
Yep.
So that's what the Pat Bev is. You wanted a culture change. You brought him in. You kind of got to ride with what you brought, right?
Yep.
And deal with the repercussions. I actually understood where he came from. I don't love pushing people in the back, but Book and Nate stood over. I still can't believe that guy plays for a professional team. I got to be honest. It's still hilarious. He's good. I can't even know. I don't know his name. That's how.
Reeves?
Is it Reeves? Yeah. Sorry, Reeves. You're amazing. You're better than I'd ever be. But I can't believe he's on a professional team. You brought him in to do this. Let him be him and see where it takes you. I think the Lakers could come out of this storm looking really, really strong. They could go back to what they were, but I think they're actually trending up. You got AD playing like his old self, making better decisions on the ball. Pat Bev's just a menace. He confuses other teams. I don't mind him, man.
I like Pat Bev. You know what my takeaway from it was? My takeaway, LeBron's coming back Friday. It could potentially be like a team building kind of thing, but I'm going to tell you something. This is
I'd hold LeBron out for another 2 weeks, to be honest.
people going to cook me on this. You ready? I may, after I get myself settled and have my PC locked in, end of year, here's my cards. Russell Westbrook, right? And not for this year. Not for this year. But I watched that, and Ayton finally gets up after being trucked. I mean, like, he did one of those falls, where it's like, and he just keep falling like the Joker. He's like, those memes where like the Joker's just continuing to fall down the stairs that he was walking down.
You're talking about the João Feliz Joker.
Yes, yeah. So
not the real Joker.
No.
Okay.
So you've seen a million memes of people who just like they get touched and boom, they just fall like a million. So that's what it looked like. Ayton got pushed like 500 feet down. He finally gets up and he looks around. What's funny is Pat Bev. If you watch the whole scene, there's so many things going on. I think it's Bridges. He comes running out of the corner, and it looks like he's going to go in after Pat Bev because it's right after Pat Bev knocked over Ayton. And you see Bev catches him out of the corner of his eye and is about to square up. And Bridges just runs around him to go to like Ayton to like pick him up. So no one really had Ayton's. No one went to Pat Bev. Like nobody wanted any of that smoke. But better than that, Ayton gets up and looks around like, who am I going to go after? Right? Who am I gonna be pissed off at? He goes to go after Anthony Davis, who I consider soft. That would be the easy one for Ayton. But he can't get to him. You want to know why? Because as soon as Russ Westbrook sees Ayton's about to go after Davis, Westbrook is like a dart. He's like, boom. He goes right at his eye. He's like, I love that, right? I love that because here's a guy who's basically been portrayed by the media as like ostracized from the team, not warming up with them. He's over there dribbling the ball and banging it off his head while the team is doing their high fives in their meetings under the rim. Russ is gone. Russ is an idiot. But when something like this goes down, he's the first one to fly into harm's way and put his body in between the guy who's an aggressor and his teammate. Love that shit.
I would actually say he plays better and Pat Bev played better when they're in those kind of scuffles. Like some people need that. Some players need that to get into the game. Draymond needs that. Booker does not need that. Booker needs peace and quiet. Pat Bev, Russ, they need that intensity, that ferocity,
Yeah, something on top of it. So yeah,
and I think
like
that's
that.
what we've wanted from the Lakers for a while. Like LeBron can be LeBron as long as the other guys kind of fill in the gaps, and I think it's good to see a little grit.
Yeah, listen, I don't mind it. I think it's fine. I mean,
they need to protect and whatever Anthony Davis is doing from like a putting the ball in the basket perspective. Make sure he keeps putting the ball in the basket. Westbrook and Pat Bev, you go fight, and LeBron pass the ball to AD, and
get out of his way.
Then they could do something because
we still need a shooter. The Lakers still need somebody outside, like you said a million times, a Ray Allen type, somebody who, when Davis is being double teamed and LeBron is just doing whatever it is LeBron is doing now, they can kick it out, and someone can hit a basket. Who is that? Is it Reeves?
Is it Reeves? Not Reeves.
Is it Matt Ryan?
You could find that guy. If a team's doing well, you could go out and find that guy. I don't know if Kyle Korver is available, by the way.
I mean, isn't he 147 years old, Kyle Korver?
Yeah, but I mean, what do you got to do? Like, you got to make threes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, look at the Warriors continue to suck. Just ask Steve Kerr if he wants to come out and do it again. I mean, why not? That guy can hit some shots too. If we're going, how about Steve Nash? He's unemployed. He wasn't the best shooter though. No, but I mean, listen, I saw that. I was like, this is a topic because Andrew, he's going to have a strong opinion on it. He's going to be like, Pat Bev's a clown, or he's going to be like, this is it. This is a spark. They're looking for that.
The Nets are clowns, dude. The Nets with Simmons, they came back to Philly with Philly without Maxey, Embiid, and Harden and lost.
Yeah.
That makes me very happy. Ben Simmons actually played pretty well.
Simmons has played a couple good games in a row. I don't want to clown Simmons too much. I mean, he had a nice stat line the other day, like 20-something points. And I watched that game. He's a good passer. I mean, you've heard that he's a good passer, but
You mean he passes with authority accurately?
He waits for the person who he's passing to be in the right spot to pass him the ball. Like Seth Curry is able to just shoot when the ball is put into his hands. Like, and even the commentators were mentioning that a couple times during the game.
I would agree that's a skill. I don't think that's that difficult of a skill to learn, but yes, I agree that's his best asset.
It's easier when you will have some chemistry. You've talked about it all the time about Draymond being a good passer because he knows where Curry's going to be, but they know where they're going to be because they basically like have lived together for a decade.
I agree.
Whereas Ben Simmons has been on the court for 5 minutes. But not much else. What's funny is you see him standing around the rim when somebody else is dribbling the ball and trying to get position. The defenders don't go anywhere near him. Like defenders go nowhere near him because they know the Nets aren't going to pass it to him to shoot. I mean, maybe an alley-oop. But if he's 5 feet away from the basket, he's by himself. They forget he's there. They're not going to throw it to him to shoot. It's crazy.
So we got the buyback program.
Yep.
We've got the grading, and we got a little ball and a little footy. Thanksgiving. Yep. You want to wish anybody anything before we wrap up here?
It's funny, man. I'll wrap up here. But I was going to put a story post out there, like the people I'm thankful for. And I started off, of course, with you, and I put on our team, and I had Cajun, and I had, Alex, and and then I'm like, all right, and then let me put a separate thing in here for all the people that we do business with, and all the people that I have, helped. And I'm like, what?
Instagram's like you could only tag 10.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do this, and no matter what, even if I was like, dude, maybe I do 5 stories, and I'm like, you know what, I can't, because no matter what, I'm gonna leave somebody out. So. I will send messages out to basically everyone as a personalized thank you message because I don't want to miss anyone. So, yeah, I'm thankful for a lot of people in this hobby. I'm thankful for the hobby in general. I'm thankful for you. This is a cool thing, man. I mean, I know it's a pain in the ass sometimes, and I'll message you and like, hey, let's do an episode. And you're like, come on, what the hell are we even going to talk about today? And I'm like, there's always something. The hobby's the gift that keeps on giving. And, I get to talk about cards, man. I mean, who's better than this? Who's got it better than this?
I also ask, which episode are we doing? Is this a guest
yes.
episode? But it's okay. You're like,
we have a lot. We have a lot to do. We have a lot to do. Be thankful for that. So many things to talk about. So little space on the hard drive.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, people.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So, as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month. And many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is, 9170 Glades Road, number 135. Is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com, or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.